Wait, not yet, man. Why don't you wait now?
All right, what size shoes you wear? We had your old ones, right? Saving special for you, Tommy.
All right, that's the way to do it. Down and around. Okay. Wait, turn around, turn around. Bend down. Okay. Maybe have some fly.
I don't fool with none of that.
Up, hang up. Up. Okay. Okay, you good?
Good morning. One of the things that I always instruct the new people that are coming in, that when you're here, you're with human beings, okay? All the people sitting there are human beings. All of us are human beings. You will be treated like a human being. We want you to treat us as a human being. We want you to respect us. We want to respect you. Be kind to each other. Be considerate of each other. Forget selfishness. Do not form cliques. Do not form Chicano cliques, black cliques, Anglo cliques. That's no good. Help your neighbor. Help your bunk partner. Help each other, okay? By helping each other, you're not going to rip off his canteen. You're not going to rip off with his personal belongings. And this will stop any problems that can be created by ripping each other off with our personal belongings. So don't do that. We have a job to do. You have time to serve, so do we. We're serving, hopefully, towards retirement eventually. You're serving to get out of the institution. If we work together and get this thing lined up together and we talk to each other and we trust each other, we can make your stay here better than you anticipate it to be.
When I came through the back gates and I heard all the hollering and noise and stuff, I just didn't know what to think, you know. What kind of place am I getting into, you know?
A man comes into the joint, he's scared, he's going to do what he can to survive. When I first drove up, I made a knife. That was the first thing I did. But you have to establish yourself within, because there's already certain people here who have done time. You have to establish yourself within the institution. If you don't, you're going to be intimidated, or you're going to be abused sexually, or maybe you're going to pay protection or whatever. So it's almost a common law that you have to establish yourself within the institution.
When I first came in the institution, of course, you're just kind of coming down out of the trauma from being in court. Being sentenced, and that in itself was kind of heavy on your head. Because for a time there, I felt like I was dead. Right? Just kind of cut out of everything you had in society. My bicycle, my guitar, you know, my school, my family, my friends, the dog, you know, all these things are just all gone, you know. My freedom, all I have is these four walls with bars, and you know, what is this supposed to do to me?
A convict and an inmate carries herself plumb different. It's just like me, I'm an outlaw. And I've always been an outlaw and always will be. But most of the first timers coming in now are youngsters. They don't relate in the outlaw life. Their whole outlook is get high today and to hell with tomorrow.
If contraband is found on your person, you're responsible. If it's found in your bed desk drawer, you're responsible. If it's found in your mattress or whatever, it belongs to you and you will be charged as such. Okay, common problems faced in your housing unit that cause custodial and disciplinary problems. First of all, probably protection, jackets that inmates give each other. For example, snitching. Somebody doesn't like somebody else in the unit, he usually says he's a snitch. He's got problems. Bulldogging, stealing canteen, protection, fighting, and making punks. Okay, you have little groups in there they call cliques. You come in here to do your time, you came in here by yourself, you're going to leave the same way. So avoid running around with the wrong groups.
To give you a little religious enlightenment, Reverend Bolin.
Well, you probably say, what good does going to church in here do me? Many of the fellows have really gotten right with God. And there's about a half a dozen or 8 fellows that are out in the ministry today. And they got started with God in here. So I invite you to take advantage of anything and everything that you possibly can. Make this time serve for you. And as the old saying is, don't serve time, but make it serve you.
A new commitment is usually scared, totally. I mean, just scared to death. It's like taking somebody, taking their freedom, taking their family, taking a lot of their personal and civil rights away from them. You're taking everything away from them. And you're putting them in an environment that they know nothing about. It's like taking somebody away and putting them in a strange place, like sending you to Mars or something like this and being with total strangers, you know. You don't know how to act. You don't know what to think. You don't know what the next guy's thinking. I could imagine it would be what you call a personal hell.
When I pick up a gun, like I carried a gun for a long time on the streets. I had a 25 automatic, a 45, a 22. Whenever I had one, I thought I was God. I walked around with the attitude that anybody bothers me, just waste them, and that'll take care of that. You won't be bothered by them anymore.
One night, I was in a dormitory. All of a sudden, I heard crash, crash, bang, bang. Bunch of locks, you know. What happened is this guy that I knew was pretty close to had some kind of disagreement with somebody, and 15 guys got together and tied locks at the end of their belts. And all came at him at the same time. Fine. It's part of what this place goes on in this place. Well, of course, they crushed his head open, and, you know, he had to go to the hospital and everything. And what I remember, you know, is after the guards had come in and everybody was, the lights were on. And of course, this was late at night. Lights were off. I saw a pool of blood on the floor, and I could see the reflection of the wall through the blood. And apparently, the guy had stepped on the blood, picked up the blood, and walked down the hallway because I saw a trail of footprints in blood. And then I started thinking, my God, you know, what is this really all about? What is really going on? That's reality.
If you compare a mental hospital and a penitentiary, there's basically very little difference. Each person is incarcerated. Some people may be incarcerated within their own souls. Other people may be incarcerated within four walls, but they're still incarcerated. What we have here in a penitentiary are your incompetent, bad criminals. Bad in the sense that they got caught. So not only are they unsuccessful as human beings, they're unsuccessful as criminals as well. So when you think about that, and the individual does think about that all the time, they're unable to live in society, live within the rules and mores of society. They're not even able to live outside of society and, involved in a criminal life because they get caught.
Get those numbers ready.
The hold of your number is supposed to be way back there. Okay. 30. 30. 32.
Last 20, please.
What's up there, Large? How you doing? Doing fair, huh? All right.
I'm a tattoo artist. I tattooed for about 5 years. Did most of the ones I've got on me myself. A lot of them are cover-ups because the first ones I did didn't look so hot. The tattoos, at this point right now, I wish I didn't have them. But at the time, I thought they were pretty far out. My attitude towards a whole lot of things have changed. And I wish I didn't have my body marked up. It represents what my past used to be.
Dennis, 26,521. Dennis, 26,521. Baca, 27,382. Baca, 27,382.
27163. Padilla, 27163. Report to ID office.
Conocer?
Command Officer Byers, what unit is Hector Padilla in 27163?
27163?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Trusty unit. Trusty.
Trust unit?
Yeah.
Okay, you want to page him?
I'm here. I'm still here.
Or you want to page him on the intercom?
All right. Report to ID.
Yeah. Okay, one.
This gets very busy sometimes. Sometimes you don't even know where you're coming or going.
23263.
First thing in the morning. Control Center Martinez.
Hey, Martinez, Pino here.
Yes, sir.
There's you got the list there that I have?
Yeah, I got it.
Can you call those people out again to come to the disciplinary committee?
All right.
All right, thanks a lot.
Limit attention, President Martinez, 29778. Martinez, 29778. Report to the disciplinary committee. Martinez, 29778. Report to the disciplinary committee.
Don't matter if none of this shit helps, man. Tell you. They ask me if I want to appeal it, but I don't like to go through all that shit, because I don't know what it is,
ain't no sense in thinking about it and, you know, going through all this shit and telling them off and shit like that, you know, because there ain't no sense in it, you know, so I just shine it on, you know.
It's useless, you know.
You can't win. No matter if you didn't do whatever they said you did.
You heard that old expression, you know, kangaroo court? Well, this is what it all amounts to, man, kangaroo court. I know one thing for sure, regardless whether you're guilty or not guilty, man, you're gonna get found guilty anyway, you know.
You are being charged with possession of intoxicant. Being intoxicated, conduct which disrupts or interferes with the orderly running of the institution. Description of incident. During a routine check of cell block 3, I smelled a strong odor of homemade brew. When I ordered cell 24 to be open, inmate Vicente Gonzalez, PNM 23616, flushed what he had in 2 glasses down the commode of his cell. Lieutenant Wilfred Romero and Officer Robert E. Valencia shook down his cell and found 1 plastic container made of notebook covers, which also contained a small amount of homemade brew. Do you admit or deny this report?
I deny it.
Go ahead and explain.
I had a glass of a Tang, orange Tang. That's home brew. Well, I guess I'll keep on buying it at the canteen. It just keeps getting me drunk.
One of the charges is being under the influence of intoxicating liquors.
Well, being under the influence, I couldn't have been under the influence of intoxicated liquors because in the first place I wasn't examined by a medical anybody, you know.
Well, the officer observed you.
Yeah, observed me, but I wasn't drunk. Whatever I say, I'm going to be wrong anyway. The officer's right all the time. I'm just a number here, you know what I mean? And I'm not getting wise or nothing, but I'm telling you the truth about that report because there wasn't no brew.
There are no questions.
The home brew was found in his cell even though it was not checked at the hospital lab.
Based on the reporting officer and the captain's investigation, and I'll vote guilty.
I've got to go there with myself.
On 3 charges. On the 3 charges.
Yeah, 3 of them.
Have a seat. Gonzalez committee has reached a decision. We are finding you guilty of all 3 charges, and we are recommending that you remain in segregation pending review and release by a segregation committee.
Well, I got off. What I made, I got off, you know, so I had my fun, you know, so I don't care.
You know, you gotta do something wrong here anyway. You know, I can't blame a person. You can't really blame a person for doing what you know.
There's a basic conflict between the ideas of rehabilitation and correction and punishment. Because you can't punish somebody and at the same time try to rehabilitate them. Because along the lines of punishment, you have security, you have deprivation from your family, deprivation from society, deprivation from your humanity. Your name is changed to a number. Deprivation from some of your basic kind of fundamental human instincts to make your own decisions concerning your life. And that's security, and that comes along punishment. You can't take away that humanity and expect, you know, to get him to function normally and responsibly in society.
All library activities are canceled. Moving John 81. 25, 998. Moving John 81.
Most people are in the penitentiary because they lack one thing, and that's a sense of responsibility. And I would say that this institution perpetuates that irresponsibility on individuals. They decide how much you can spend at the canteen. They decide when you'll eat. They decide when you'll see a movie. Well, see, you know, if you're treated like that and you become, you know, institutionalized without even being aware of it, then when you are released, you know, you have nothing to fall on. You know, you don't have any inner strength, you know. They're not going to come out there in the streets and wake you up at 7 o'clock in the morning so you'll be at your job. They're not going to tell you, you know, you just got your paycheck, so don't spend it all today. If they was going to do anything, they should, you know, institute, you know, some kind of responsibility on the individual and then give him benefits along with the responsibility that he's handling. And then you would have rehabilitation.
Rehabilitation's out now, man. I mean, you're here to be punished, okay? And they don't make any bones about that anymore. I mean, that's a fact, okay? I can accept that fact, okay? I'm here to be punished because I committed a crime against society, and I got no bitch coming about that, okay? I'll do the time. But at the same time, I don't think that I should be abused or treated like an animal while I'm here. I'm still a man and I'm still a human being. And I think I should get the same respect from that guy standing out there, that badge on his chest, as he demands from me.
Me, when I first came here, I was really young, you know, and I was scared half to death. Okay, I've been here 9 years now, and I've learned a lot. But most of what I've learned is negative things. I'm paranoid to a great extent now because of being in here.
It's a constant 24-hour-a-day pressure. They'll come by when you're sleeping at 3 o'clock in the morning and hit on your windows with a flashlight for the pleasure of doing it, man.
Last Saturday, they said you can't bring a radio out to the yard, and Sunday we went to the yard and we were able to bring a radio to the yard, you know. One day a rule stands and the next day it just falls, you know. It just depends on who's on and what captain wants to get in your face about it.
But it's just mental harassment. It's coming into your cell and shakedowns, tearing the cell up. They don't have any respect for your personal property. They throw your pictures on the floor of your family. I found pictures of my family on a tier after a shakedown, walked on, you know. And I mean, when you take these kind of abuses daily, and I'm not talking about it goes on all through the institution. It's worse in cell block 3, and it's worse in cell block 4.
It gets to the point to where you just almost give up. I mean, there's only two ways you can do it. You either let the hostilities out or you suppress them to the place where you go bananas, right? You come in here, the only way that they say or that you prove to them that you're ready to go out is you go out into their Mickey Mouse industries and you do their slave labor. You walk the hallway without any write-ups. You go out here and kiss the bottom of the feet of the man with the badge on him, and you hibernate in your cell. Then you just might make a parole when you go to the board if some dude hasn't snitched on you about something you either did or didn't do.
They don't like us talking to you about this, you know, about the institution, because there's a lot of negative stuff here. There's a lot of stuff that goes on that people out there probably don't realize, you know. And we'll probably catch a little harassment. I think we already have caught it.
It's like right now, the lieutenant's standing right there at a broken window listening to everything that's going on. You know, they're going to know about it in 15 minutes.
What a bummer. Who's listening, man?
Lieutenant Romero.
Move back.
Yo, let him get on the film,
I don't really care, as long as this will help.
You know, David,
I mean, the inmates that's in here, I don't care.
Most of the people in this room, you know, see a lot going on here that shouldn't be happening, and they want to change. They want to change for the better, you know. And there's a lot of guys out there that you ran into that get that camera out of my face. I don't want to talk about it. You get 15 minutes, they're standing out there on the tier talking about how bad this place is. You know, they don't have enough balls to come in here and tell you about it and put it on that camera.
Freedom, to quote an old phrase, is a state of mind, a state of spirit. You can let this place lock you up, or you just don't let it get to you. A lot of people have been locked up by it.
You got a chick standing naked next to you, and a little boy standing next to you. Which would you take? He said, "Fuck the chick, I take a little boy."
Really?
Just being constricted in one little spot right here, all your problems just seem to just come to your head, you know, and it's hard to forget about all these things, you know.
The biggest thing in this cell block that I find is the monotony. Things just get monotony. You can only read so many books before it becomes a bore, and you have to put them aside and get off into something else, play cards or play chess. And even these routines get monotonous after a while, and then there's 3 or 4 days where you're just slack, idle, do nothing. It's not the best of all possible worlds. It's the one that I've earned for myself.
1721. '62 to '53.
They're made out of toilet paper. It's dyed. We dye them with cotton.
Whose move was this? Your move.
My move?
I just took your night.
For an openly gay person to be inside an institution, they have to be in lockup or deal with a whole role-playing trip that straight people put on gay people, especially in here, because it seems like there's a lot more macho role-playing going on in here than anywhere I've ever seen in all my life.
I just happened to come upon the pattern one day and asked a friend of mine if he wanted to do it. He said, sure. So struggled through about a month and a half of pain and finally came out.
Took a month and a half.
More or less, off and on. The dude couldn't work on it more than maybe 2 or 3 hours a night on it. And approximately did about a square inch a night, something like that. The thing is, it's all handmade.
One of the things about being gay in here is the parole board discriminates heavily against gay people. They're appointed by the community, right, to decide who's supposed to be out here there. And even though I've never perpetrated a sex crime, they don't want gay people out there. That's the way the parole board sees it, especially in New Mexico, and this place is Catholic, and I'm an unorthodox Jew, right? I mean, that's just the way it goes.
If an inmate comes in this penitentiary and they say, well, he's a snitch or a punk, they're going to try to punk him. And if they say he's a snitch, he's going to get beat.
People don't seem to care for the people in protection. Because we are in protection, they think that we're either a bunch of sissies and they just don't care about us. The institution doesn't even seem to care about us.
It's made out of handkerchief. It's made out of pen and pastels.
I'm in here for aggravated battery, aggravated assault, first-degree murder, and 25 counts of armed robbery. 100 to 150 years, with the bitch chasing it.
I pulled an armed robbery. I was on drugs.
Well, time doesn't belong to no human being on this earth from the start. All of us were doing time when we was first born. Out there in what they call the free world, other than a penitentiary, people are doing time. They have to go to a judge on Judgment Day, which is God Almighty over us all. Only difference in the time from people out there than in here is that we are caged up in a box, you know, like these bars, we can't get out, you know. And time is belonging to the time owner, you know, which is God above. You know, Jesus Christ, his son, presented his time once before down on this earth, but he's gone. Like all of us have to do the same thing, leave here and go. It's just like a game. We play it like in a picture show until we go.
Give your numbers, man.
Who's that behind you? Got it.
Loneliness. Like, I've known loneliness, but I've never known it to be to the depths that I've kind of known it to be here. And sometimes it's just so intensive in terms of its pressure inside. I feel, you know, like I just have to break out and cry, sort of.
My crime was first-degree murder and armed robbery back in 1974. It's not a pretty note to consider the gas chamber. You hear a bunch of different things about it that, well, it doesn't really hurt. The gas knocks you out right away. You never feel nothing. But there is nobody who has ever come back from going to the gas chamber to tell you it don't hurt.
Okay, mail call. 25 to 20, Danny Baca. George Noble. Joshki. Eddie Salazar. 23, 855. That's all there is.
Yes, he did. Little mix-up that time in the backfield. Slow back running into somebody. You can see he gets in a little trouble.
What do you think the toughest part of your job?
Putting up with the monotony of it.
Is that all?
Being an officer, you catch flack from everybody, you know. The caseworkers get down on you, the inmates get down on you, the administration gets down on you. It's like, you know, you're here just so somebody has a whipping boy around. No matter how well you do your job, all it takes is one idiot and the whole force gets criticized for something, you know. It's very unfair. Anyway, that's why I'm quitting.
I still feel guilty, feel sorry for the person that took his life. I didn't know him, never seen him before in my life. He had a wife, numerous kids, a bunch of grandkids. I did a pretty heavy thing, you know, and that still bothers me.
It's kind of painful, it kind of hurts. Kind of hurts a whole lot. Walking down the hallway with a feeling that, you know, recollecting the mountain. Like for myself, I used to walk down the hallway and I remember the mountains I used to climb as a kid. And, you know, the freedom, sitting on top of the mountain and looking at the beautiful colors of the, you know, sun. And it's just overwhelmingly beautiful. And then here I am, pacing the same hallway for 2-3 years, you know. I say, oh man, am I alive? Sometimes I think. And it's kind of like you have to really fight hard to find a reason to stay alive.
One saying thank you for that.
Did you get the one last time that you wrote to him?
Which one? That one, no, because I didn't want to send it to him because I didn't want him to start worrying about you.
Then after you get out, we have to pay for it. It doesn't stop there. By being good, keeping all the promises you made. Like, I'm not gonna do this and I'm not gonna do that.
Anyhow, I think, yeah, I have to elect the attorney. Right.
She still hasn't cut it at 2.
No. Gotta keep on the right track all the way around. Because if you don't, get another tragic scene. No, you will. You both will. You will. Tragedy scenes. I'm tired of it. Habla, dame serio. Quiero que reces.
And also there's the fact that the snitch was armed. So that's commission of a felony that proves him unreliable in court. This is also in the mix. He was armed? You're darn right he was. He was carrying a Smith & Wesson .38 stone in the shoulder holster. So that's why I didn't know if he had in the shoulder holster. On him?
Gary's going to college. Huh? Gary what?
Going to college.
He's getting his GED.
Who told you that?
That's what I heard.
I think you're ready to. You are not ready for you. I couldn't say that 8 months ago. And now I can't.
Was that one of those kids that was beat to death?
Have everyone's attention. Your time's up for visits. 3:30.
What can I say?
Next day.
Prisons have never worked. I don't think they never will. I couldn't begin to tell you how many people in here have have had encounters that they didn't want. How many people in here live in protection units because they cannot live in population, because in population they would be somebody's kid. They would be calling somebody daddy.
Would you say
whatever
it goes
you want
back
to
to the
call
touch?
it. It goes back to the touch, yeah.
It goes back to that touch. Yeah, it does. There's no sensation. You know, you don't feel good looking, and you don't feel good talking, you know what I mean? But it sure does feel good if you're touching somebody. Whether it's your mother, your wife, or your best boyfriend, you want to touch somebody. And they try to cut that off. They try to make you just so totally void of an emotion.
It's part of the dehumanization process that somehow we all seem to go through when you come here. You dress alike, you eat the same, you go the same places, you see the same things, you all live in the same kind of house.
You make it in here one way. You submerge everything you have, all right? You grab the mask off the wall in the morning while you're brushing your teeth and combing your hair. You make sure it's on real good, and then you walk out in that corridor.
Whether it's a guard or another inmate, it doesn't matter because it's all underneath. You just smile at them, how high. It's all plastic. Everything's churning really deep down inside. Nobody's going to look at it because everybody's afraid after a while of what they'll find if they look too far.
These emotions build up so much you can't let them loose. And so you just hold them and hold them and hold them and hold them, and they let you out. The first person comes along the street, he gets it. You know, that's true.
But the main element, the touch, like he's saying, they throw us in here and we don't have anything to really better ourselves or anything like that. So when you do go out, you're out of touch with reality, the world. Within 2 years, the whole world out there changes and you're lost.
The basic thing to me is the separation from the family. They lock me up and we all suffer. I can't see that as being right. It's carrying the idea of punishment or whatever a little bit too far to me. My wife, my kids are suffering just as much as I am because I'm in here.
Now, if you're doing 5 or 10 years, you can see daylight. But if you're doing life or natural life or life in 50 or 2 or 3 lives, well, you know, then all you can see is midnight.
There's only one way to do time, and that's to do it one day at a time. You cannot look to the future. You don't know whether tomorrow your wife will still be with you. You don't even know who's going to be alive tomorrow. So you do it one day at a time. That's the only way you can, and keep your sanity.
After working here and having the liberty to go home every day, I cannot conceive of how an individual who's ever been here once will ever commit a crime again and come back. It's just something I do not understand. The curtailing of freedom, the fact that you live in a society where your every move is regimented and watched, that once you've been in the penitentiary and you've been given the opportunity to leave, that you would do something to bring yourself back. It's something which I don't understand and nobody I know understands.
It was either come to the joint, this is the way I look at it. I thank God for coming to the joint because if I wouldn't have, and I was still on the streets, I would be dead.
If you're really honest with yourself, things will work out really well. Well, I turned myself in and I had a little bit of faith in the system, you know. I really did. And as soon as, you know, I felt, well, somebody would care, you know, somebody would really want to help. And one really, really kind of painful thing for me to realize is that nobody really does. I was wrong.
This man is here doing a sentence of 10 to 50 years for rape. Good afternoon, Mr. We'll just have a seat right there. Your behavior and your conduct in this prison has been an exceptionally good one. You get tremendous recommendations from your caseworker. You get good recommendations from any number of people in this prison. However, we have a difficult decision to make because of the seriousness of the offense, because of the propensities for violence in terms of rape and assaulting women that has been demonstrated by this record, so that the decision that we have to make here is an extremely serious and difficult decision to make, and you can understand that.
Yes, sir.
About how many psychologists have you seen since you first began to have problems with this type of deviancy?
3. Well, 4.
There are some 10 rapes. There's the thought that you still have some type of problem and that you need to resolve that problem and that kind of thing.
I don't ever really feel I'll resolve all the conflicts I deal with in life. In specifically addressing the conflict that I believe got me here to begin with, I believe
we're talking about sex deviancy and,
yes,
and rapes and that kind of thing.
No, sir,
We're dealing specifically with that subject at this particular moment. Now, take one of the rapes that you committed. and give the detail of how this thing came down.
The specific rape that I'm charged with now, serving time for, I was a student at the College of New Mexico State University, and one night I was walking past the apartment building and I happened to look inside a living room door that was...
You happened to look by,
yeah, it was
or
open.
you were looking for someone? You just don't happen to look into...
Okay, well, I was looking for someone. That would be more accurate. Then inside of course, the house, there was a girl walking in the nude into the shower. So, of course, at that time, I just went around the back, went into the window, found out that nobody was home but her, turned off the lights, went into the restroom, and just grabbed her, said some forceful words, better do what I say.
Oh, I'll kill you?
Yes, I used those words. And, of course, I didn't mean it. That was just a method of psychologically threatening. Yeah. We had sexual intercourse at that time, and I left.
We had...
Well, sexual intercourse occurred. We went to the bedroom and had intercourse in it.
You took it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. In the future, whenever you get out of the penitentiary, out of necessity, you're going to have to deal with women, whether it be a store clerk, a girlfriend, sisters, or anyone in the community. Do you foresee any problems in dealing with the women?
Not really.
So, when you go back into community, how are you going to fulfill your sexual needs?
Well, probably just to get married.
That to you is a meaningful relationship to get married?
Well, yes, sir.
Is that something you really want to do? Get married?
Yes, sir.
Have children? How are you going to handle rejection? Because it's kind of a cold world out there.
Yeah, I know.
Everyone's not going to fall to their knees to you and hug you and kiss you.
You're right.
Love you. How are you going to handle those instances of rejection?
If I'm rejected by one person, I still probably will be able to find many people that accept me.
So, Cass, do you have any questions?
Yes, just one. What would trigger you to rape again?
Emotional instability.
And how could that occur?
It takes a period of time and development of not dealing with your emotional problems.
Do those problems in your mind, do they still persist?
No, sir.
They do not. You are so firm and so sure in your mind that you will not ever commit another rape. Are you that sure?
No, sir. I'm not totally confident, but I am capable.
So that there is a means by which the emotional instability could arise where you could perpetrate the crime of rape.
I don't believe there is, sir. I believe there's, just because I feel confident about my life and just because I feel confident about my response to people doesn't mean I can prophesy the future. All it gives me is what I feel about myself now.
We're all going to the street someday, man. We are. You want to be my neighbor? Tell me that. You want to be my neighbor when I come out there?
That sentence is going to be up someday. He's going to go back to the streets. And how is he going to go back there? All you have to do is look around.
Get something outside of those people out there to think about. That's not a threat, man. That's a reality. That's the way it is.
The fires were still burning today as they brought out the dead in Santa Fe, New Mexico, after a weekend riot by prisoners destroyed the state penitentiary and left dozens dead. Good evening. By late today, 35 dead had been counted at the New Mexico State Penitentiary in Santa Fe after the worst outbreak of prison violence since Attica, New York in 1971. Prisoners took over the institution in the early hours of Saturday, taking guards as hostages and going on a rampage of torture and execution of other prisoners. The siege ended late Sunday when the prison was retaken by National Guardsmen and state police. New Mexico's Governor Bruce King
It gets to the point to where you just almost give up. I mean, there's only two ways you can do it. You either let the hostilities out or you suppress them to the place where you go bananas, right?
You cannot look to the future. You don't even know who's going to be alive tomorrow.
You make it in here one way. You submerge everything you have, all right? You grab the mask off the wall in the morning while you're brushing your teeth and combing your hair. You make sure it's on real good, and then you walk out in that corridor. Whether it's a guard or another inmate, it doesn't matter because it's all underneath. You just smile at them, oh hi. It's all plastic. Everything's churning really deep down inside. Nobody's going to look at it because everybody's afraid after a while of what they'll find if they look too far.